You also touch upon, you talk a lot about the walk away, that when you have been in some sense a victim to a psychopath, that the only thing to do is walk away. Could you elaborate a bit on that? Because sometimes that must be quite difficult in the circumstances, especially when you talk about very close relationships. Well, let's say family relationships or partnerships or things involving family and kids, and maybe even very important business relationships. How can you just walk away?
Well, you don't just walk away. You know, it's a very difficult process. But you immediately got to, if it's something like it's a close family situation or a business thing, you immediately begin an exit strategy. If you identify that a psychopath within the structure is the problem, is the issue, because there's going to be no resolution there. You cannot work with them. There will be no mediation. There will be no meeting them halfway. The psychopath also does not like when you walk away, because they've lost control over you. So people who are looking for an element of satisfaction from the experience, the best thing they can actually do in order to kind of irritate and annoy the psychopath, and it really does irritate and annoy them, is to no contact ever again. No further contact. Do not engage, do not comply. Now, in a situation with your children, you have children with a psychopath. Well, if you have a child, in most countries you're legally obligated until that child reaches adult age, 18 or whatever, to take care of it. But you would have to make amends for the fact that you cannot be dealing with this kid as an adult, because they will never leave home. They will always be coming back looking for money, bailing them out of legal trouble, and so on. Now, you could implement a kind of Pavlovian conditioning where maybe they get into trouble with the law once and you bail them out, and then you say to them, if the police come knocking on this door again, or you're in financial trouble, don't come to me. I'll have nothing to do with you ever again. And you may, through this Pavlovian conditioning, get them to stop that behaviour in relation to you. They won't stop it in relation to others, and they may move their machinations onto a different frequency or a different level of approach. If you're in a long-term, well, you're married to a psychopath, you've got to get away. Now, if you have children with them, that brings up all kinds of legal issues. You're going to have to work them out. But if you, the ideal solution is no contact ever again. It works beautifully. It's a liberating. Involved with groups that deal with people who've escaped.
Oh, hang on. I think the connection just did a little jump. Can you take it back?
Sorry.
Yeah, the connection is.
Okay. Am I back?
Yes, I think you are.
No, I deal with a lot of people who've been through this experience, particularly married to them, or in a relationship, a romantic relationship with a psychopath, and the no contact ever again thing is something that they constantly talk about how fantastic it feels. They get back their dignity, they get back their strength, and they start to believe in themselves again, and it's almost a spiritual transformation from this. In fact, many people do come out of psychopathic experience almost spiritual. Even if they were atheists beforehand.
Yeah.
It's very interesting dynamic.
That's also something that I would like you to go into a little bit deeper. But first, I would like to get back to the whole thing about whether or not it's possible to. Is it at all possible to have a relationship where you can retain some control? What I'm really asking is, can you make a relation with any type of psychopath work?
I really don't know. I can't imagine a situation where you could. Even in military, militaries don't want anything to do with them either, because they make terrible soldiers. Now, you'd think at first that a psychopath would be an ideal individual to have on the battlefield fighting your wars with you, because they would just kill without remorse. But that's not what happens when a psychopath is in a combat situation. As soon as the battle starts, they sneak off and they start like looting homes, raping female civilians, or very common, going back to the front lines, going back to the headquarters and stealing their comrades' stuff. It's very common. And the First World War was when this was really recognised. British troops who had been shot at dawn. It was for cowardice. But when you look at and some of them were shell shocked. Many of them were shell shocked and put up the wall for no reason at all. And they had a nervous breakdown. But many of them too were obviously psychopaths. When you look at their records, they had done this numerous times. They had just basically left the battlefield and started stealing their friends' stuff. And started even looting officers' quarters while the battle was going on. And that's why psychopaths, even in the military system, they give you a gun to their head, they're still no good. So I can't see a situation where you could create a useful psychopath, because that's even the idea of them being in a battle is a myth. It'll be useful in an insane society where the values of the society are completely warped. So you need psychopaths to actually become the physical and psychological engine of that warped society. But that society is ultimately doomed. So my work does not go into reforming or helping psychopaths, because that doesn't interest me, and I don't think it ever will interest me. I'm only interested in the victim and the victim experience and what people can get from it. Apart from that, what happens to psychopath, my honest thing is that I don't care. I just don't care.
What about